1. Overview of Power BI Service. The Power BI Service app Power BI.com is the cloud-based platform where you can publish reports created in Power BI Desktop, create dashboards and workspaces, collaborate and share reports with your team, use data refresh and scheduling features. The main components include workspaces, containers for datasets, reports, and dashboards. Dashboards, single-page interactive visuals from reports. Reports, multi-page visual representations of data. Datasets, data models or tables that Power BI uses for creating reports. 2. Getting started with Power BI Service. Signing in. Go to Power BI Service. https://app.powerbi.com closing bracket and log in using your organization or Microsoft account. Navigation. Once logged in, you'll see the navigation pane on the left. Home shows recommended content, recent workspaces, and datasets. Workspaces, grouped content areas for collaboration. My Workspace, your personal workspace where you store your reports, datasets, and dashboards. 3. Creating and managing workspaces. Workspaces, used to collaborate with your team. Inside a workspace, you can upload datasets, create reports, and build dashboards. Each workspace has its own permissions and access controls. Creating a workspace. Click Workspaces greater than Create a Workspace. Then give it a name and set privacy options. Adding members. Inside the workspace, you can add members by setting roles like admin, member, contributor, or viewer. 4. Uploading reports to Power BI Service. After creating a report in Power BI Desktop, you can publish it to the Power BI Service. Publish from Power BI Desktop. Go to File, greater than Publish, greater than Power BI Service, greater than select a workspace. Once published, the report will appear in your chosen workspace in Power BI Service. 5. Creating dashboards. Dashboards are single-page collections of visuals, tiles, that can come from different reports or datasets. Pinning visuals. In a report, hover over a visual and select the pin icon to add it to a dashboard. Creating a dashboard. Go to a workspace, click New greater than Dashboard, then name it. You can rearrange tiles and set alerts on your dashboard. 6. Reports versus dashboards. Reports. Interactive, multi-page collections of visuals created in Power BI Desktop or Service. Dashboards. Single-page views, usually for monitoring key metrics, where visuals are pinned from one or more reports. 7. Data refresh and scheduling. Manual refresh. If you're working with live connections, SQL databases, Power BI datasets, data refresh can be done manually. Scheduled refresh. Power BI Service allows you to schedule data refreshes under the dataset settings. You can refresh at intervals depending on your Power BI license, free or pro. 8. Sharing and collaborating. Sharing dashboards. You can share dashboards with individuals inside or outside your organization. Click Share on a dashboard and enter the user's email. Collaborating in workspaces. You can add team members to your workspace and collaborate on reports and dashboards in real time. 9. Security features. Row-level security, RLS, enforce security at the data level, allowing users to only view data relevant to them. You set this up in Power BI Desktop and publish it to the service. Roles and workspaces. Manage access through roles like admin, member, contributor, and viewer. 10. Power BI Service licensing. Free license. Provides access to personal workspaces and sharing with limited functionality. Pro license. Enables collaboration, sharing, and enhanced refresh options. Premium license. Unlocks larger datasets, higher refresh limits, and more storage. 11. App workspaces and apps. App workspaces. Collaborative environments for developing and sharing Power BI content. Apps. Pre-built collections of dashboards and reports. Users can install and use these apps for viewing data. To create an app, Build the report/dashboard in the workspace. Click Create App from the workspace. Configure app settings and share it with users in your organization. 12. Managing and monitoring workspaces. Power by Admin Portal provides access to settings like tenant level settings, usage metrics, audit logs, and capacity settings. Usage metrics. You can see how users are interacting with your dashboards and reports. 13. Understanding data flows. Data flows, reusable ETL, extract, transform, load, processes in Power by Service. Data flows allow you to clean and transform data using Power Query in the cloud, then reuse that data across different reports. You can create a data flow by clicking on Workspaces greater than New greater than Data Flow. 14. Performance optimization in Power by Service. Monitoring dataset performance. Use the Power by Performance Analyzer in Desktop to improve query efficiency before publishing to the service. Query diagnostics. Review slow or inefficient queries and improve refresh timings. 15. Deployment pipelines. Deployment pipelines allow you to manage the development lifecycle of your Power by content, development, testing, production, more efficiently. This feature is ideal for teams that need to iterate and refine their reports before releasing them to the broader organization. Managing workspaces in Power by Service. 1. Creating and configuring a workspace. 1.1. Creating a workspace. Navigate to Power by Service. Go to Power by Service. https://app.powerbi.com. Create workspace. Click on Workspaces in the left navigation pane. Then click Create a workspace. Name your workspace. Enter a name and optionally provide a description. Select a workspace type. Choose between the New Workspace Experience, Recommended, and the Classic Workspace Experience. Set privacy options. Choose between Private, only members can access, or Public, anyone in the organization can view. 1.2. Configuring workspace settings. Access workspace settings. Click on the ellipsis next to the workspace name, then select Settings, General Settings. Update the workspace name, description, and logo. Members and permissions. Add members and assign roles. Admin, member, contributor, or viewer. Manage permissions for content and workspace functionality. 2. Managing members and roles. 2.1. Roles Overview. Admin. Full control over the workspace, including member management and content publishing. Member can contribute to content and view reports, but cannot manage members. Contributor can create and edit content, but does not have access to manage members or workspace settings. Viewer can view content, but cannot edit or create new content. 2.2. Adding and removing members. Add members. Go to the workspace, click on Settings, then Members, and click Add People. Enter email addresses and assign roles. Remove members. In the same section, find the member, click the ellipsis next to their name, and select Remove. 3. Publishing and organizing content. 3.1. Publishing reports and dashboards. From Power by Desktop, use the Publish button to upload reports to a specific workspace. From Power by Service, click New greater than Report or Dashboard to create new content directly in the workspace. 3.2. Organizing content. Folders. Use folders in the new workspace experience to organize reports, dashboards, and datasets. Create a folder by selecting Create greater than Folder. Renaming and moving content. Click on the ellipsis next to the content item and choose to rename or move it within the workspace. 4. Managing datasets and data flows. 4.1. Datasets. Adding a dataset. You can upload datasets directly or use data flows to create datasets. Dataset settings. Configure settings like data source credentials, scheduled refresh, and parameters from the Dataset Settings page. 4.2. Data Flows. Creating data flows. Click on Data Flows within the workspace and select Create. Use Power Query to define transformations and transformations. Managing data flows. Edit or refresh data flows as needed. Ensure that data flows are correctly configured to provide the necessary data for reports and dashboards. 5. Security and permissions. 5.1. Row-level security, RLS. Define RLS roles. In Power BI Desktop, set up RLS roles by defining DAX filters. Publish the report to the workspace. Assign RLS roles. In the Power BI service, go to the Dataset Settings, select Security, and assign users to the predefined roles. 5.2. Workspace permissions. Manage permissions. Set specific permissions for each member or group within the workspace settings. Ensure that sensitive data is restricted to appropriate users only. 6. Content sharing and collaboration. 6.1. Sharing reports and dashboards. Share content. Open a report or dashboard, click Share, and enter the email addresses of recipients. Configure sharing options such as whether recipients can share or reshare the content. Collaborative editing. Members with contributor or admin roles can work on reports and dashboards collaboratively. 6.2. Creating and publishing apps. Create an app. In the workspace, click Create App, then select the content to include dashboards, reports, datasets. Configure app settings. Set up app navigation, branding, and permissions. Publish the app and share it with your organization or specific users. 7. Monitoring and performance. 7.1. Usage metrics. Access usage metrics. Navigate to the workspace and select Usage metrics to view how users are interacting with the reports and dashboards. Analyze performance. Identify popular reports and dashboards and monitor user engagement. 7.2. Performance tuning. Monitor refresh times. Ensure data refreshes are occurring within acceptable time frames. Use the Performance Analyzer in Power BI Desktop to optimize queries before publishing. 8. Administration and governance. 8.1. Admin Portal. Access Admin Portal. Only Power BI administrators can access the Admin Portal, where they can configure tenant settings, monitor usage, and manage capacity. Configure settings. Adjust settings related to data retention, audit logs, and user management. 8.2. Capacity management. Monitor capacity. For organizations using Power BI Premium, monitor the usage and performance of capacity nodes. Adjust capacity settings as needed to ensure optimal performance. 1. Preparing the report in Power BI Desktop. 1.1. Create or open a report. Open Power BI Desktop. Launch Power BI Desktop and either create a new report or open an existing one. Design your report. Build your report using datasets, visuals, and layouts. Make sure to validate your data and visuals to ensure they meet your needs. 1.2. Save your report. Save file. Save your Power BI report file, PBIX, on your local machine. This is essential before publishing to the Power BI service. 2. Publishing the report to Power BI service. 2.1. Sign into Power BI service. Check account. Ensure you're signed in to Power BI Desktop with the same credentials used for the Power BI service. 2.2. Publish the report. Publish option. In Power BI Desktop, go to the Home tab and click on the Publish button. Select Workspace. You'll be prompted to select a destination workspace in the Power BI service. Choose the appropriate workspace where you want to publish your report. Confirmation. After publishing, a confirmation message will appear indicating the report was successfully uploaded. You'll receive a link to the report in the Power BI service. 3. Managing the report in Power BI service. 3.1. Access the report. Navigate to Workspace. Log into Power BI service, https://app.powerbi.com closing bracket, and go to the workspace where you published the report. Locate the report. Find the report under the Reports tab in the workspace. 3.2. View and interact with the report. Open report. Click on the report to view and interact with it. You can use filters, slicers, and other interactive elements as configured in Power BI Desktop. 3.3. Configure report settings. Edit report. If needed, click Edit to modify the report in Power BI service. However, for significant changes, it's better to edit the report in Power BI Desktop and republish. Manage permissions. Click on the ellipsis next to the report and select Manage Permissions to set or adjust access controls. 4. Updating and refreshing reports. 4.1. Update report. Edit in Desktop. To make changes to the report, open it in Power BI Desktop. Make the necessary adjustments and save the changes. Republish. Click Publish again to update the report in the Power BI service. You may be prompted to overwrite the existing report or save it as a new one. 4.2. Data refresh. Configure scheduled refresh. Go to the workspace in Power BI service. Select the dataset associated with the report and configure scheduled refresh settings. Manual refresh. You can manually refresh the dataset to pull in the latest data by selecting Refresh Now in the dataset settings. 5. Sharing and collaboration. 5.1. Share the report. Sharing options. Open the report in Power BI service, click Share, and enter the email addresses of recipients. Choose whether to allow recipients to share the report further. Generate embed code. For embedding the report in a website or application, click File greater than Publish to Web to get the embed code. Note that this makes the report public. 5.2. Create and share dashboards. Pin visuals. From your report, you can pin specific visuals to a dashboard. Go to the report, hover over the visual, click the pin icon, and select a dashboard or create a new one. Share dashboards. Share dashboards in a similar manner as reports using the Share button. 6. Advanced options and considerations. 6.1. Performance considerations. Optimize data model. Ensure your data model is optimized for performance to avoid slow report rendering in the Power BI service. Use aggregations. Consider using aggregations to improve performance for large datasets. 6.2. Data security. Row-level security, RLS. Set up RLS in Power BI Desktop to control data access based on user roles. Publish the report with RLS settings and configure role assignments in the Power BI service. 6.3. Version control. Manage versions. If multiple versions of a report are needed, consider versioning by saving reports with different names or by using Power BI deployment pipelines for managing different environments: development, testing, production. 1. Understanding dashboards. 1.1. Definition. Dashboard. A single-page, interactive view of your data, comprised of tiles. Each tile can be a visual from a report, a KPI, or a text box. Tiles. Individual components on the dashboard that display data visualizations or information. Tiles can be pinned from reports or created directly on the dashboard. 1.2. Differences from reports. Reports. Multi-page, detailed visualizations created in Power BI Desktop. Dashboards. Single-page summaries that pull visuals from one or more reports and datasets. 2. Creating a dashboard. 2.1. Start with the workspace. Access workspace. Go to Power BI service, https://app.powerbi.com closing bracket, and navigate to the workspace where you want to create the dashboard. Create new dashboard. Click on New and select Dashboard. Enter a name for your dashboard and click Create. 2.2. Pinning visuals to the dashboard. Open a report. Go to the Reports section within the workspace and open the report from which you want to pin visuals. Pin visuals. Hover over a visual, for example, chart, map, and click the pin icon. Choose the dashboard where you want to pin the visual or create a new dashboard. Pin live pages. You can also pin entire pages of a report as tiles. Click on Pin Live Page from the Reports options to add the entire page to your dashboard. 2.3. Adding tiles directly. Add tiles. On the dashboard, click plus Add Tile and choose the type of tile you want to add. Text box. Add descriptions, titles, or other text elements. Image. Upload and add images to the dashboard. Web content. Embed content from a web URL. Custom tiles. Add tiles from data sources or power by datasets. 3. Customizing and organizing your dashboard. 3.1. Resize and arrange tiles. Resize tiles. Click and drag the edges of a tile to resize it according to your layout preferences. Move tiles. Drag and drop tiles to rearrange their position on the dashboard. 3.2. Configure tile settings. Edit tiles. Click the ellipsis on a tile and select Edit to change its settings or update its title. Tile details. Configure tile details such as title, subtitle, and links. You can also set alerts for data-driven tiles. 3.3. Applying filters and slicers. Dashboard filters. Apply filters at the dashboard level to affect all tiles. Click the filter icon to add and configure filters. Tile level filters. Each tile can have its own filters. Configure these from the report settings before pinning them to the dashboard. 4. Sharing and collaboration. 4.1. Sharing dashboards. Share options. Open the dashboard and click Share to share it with users within or outside your organization. Permissions. Control permissions by choosing whether recipients can share the dashboard further or reshare. 4.2. Creating dashboard apps. Publish an app. Combine multiple dashboards and reports into a single app for distribution. Go to your workspace, click Create App, and select the dashboards and reports to include App Navigation. Customize app navigation and provide a branded experience for end users. 5. Advanced dashboard features. 5.1. Real-time data. Streaming data. Pin real-time streaming datasets or dashboards to monitor live data. Direct Query. Use Direct Query to create dashboards with real-time connections to data sources. 5.2. KPI and goal tracking. KPI tiles. Add KPI tiles to track specific metrics against target values. Goals. Configure and monitor goals within dashboards to visualize progress towards targets. 5.3. Data alerts. Set alerts. For tiles that display metrics, you can set data alerts. Click the ellipsis on a tile and select Manage Alerts to configure thresholds and notifications. Alert notifications. Receive email or Power BI service notifications when data exceeds or falls below set thresholds. 6. Monitoring and maintenance. 6.1. Usage metrics. Monitor usage. View dashboard usage metrics to understand how often the dashboard is accessed and interacted with. Go to the workspace, click on Usage Metrics, and review the data. Performance optimization. Ensure that dashboards load quickly by optimizing dataset performance and minimizing complex visuals. 6.2. Updating dashboards. Refresh tiles. If the underlying data changes, the tiles on the dashboard will automatically update. Ensure that datasets are set to refresh as needed. Modify and republish. Make changes in Power BI Desktop or Service and republish to update the visuals on the dashboard. 6.3. Security and compliance. Data security. Ensure that data displayed in dashboards adheres to your organization's security policies. Compliance. Follow data governance and compliance guidelines when sharing and managing dashboards. 1. Definition and purpose. 1.1. Reports. Definition. A report in Power BI is a multi-page, interactive collection of visualizations, charts, tables, maps, etc. that represent data from one or more datasets. It is created in Power BI Desktop and published to the Power BI service. Purpose: to provide detailed, in-depth analysis of data. Reports allow users to drill down into data, apply filters, and view different pages with various visualizations. 1.2. Dashboards. Definition. A dashboard is a single-page, interactive view of key metrics and visualizations. It aggregates visuals from different reports and datasets into one cohesive screen. Purpose: to provide a high-level summary of key metrics and insights. Dashboards are designed for quick, at-a-glance monitoring of important business metrics. 2. Components and layout. 2.1. Reports. Pages. Reports consist of multiple pages, each potentially containing different visuals and filters. Users can navigate between these pages to view various aspects of the data. Visuals. Each page can include a variety of visuals, such as bar charts, line graphs, maps, tables, and more. Visuals can be highly interactive, allowing users to drill down or cross-filter between different visuals. Filters. Reports support various filtering options, including slicers, visual-level filters, and page-level filters, providing users with granular control over the data displayed. 2.2. Dashboards. Tiles. Dashboards are made up of tiles, which are individual components that can display visuals, KPIs, images, text, or web content. Each tile represents a snapshot of data or a specific metric. Pinning. Visuals are pinned from reports or datasets to dashboards. Users can pin entire report pages or individual visuals. Interactivity. Dashboards offer interactive elements, such as filtering across tiles, but do not support the same level of drill-down functionality as reports. 3. Creation and management. 3.1. Reports. Creation. Created in Power BI Desktop, where you design and build reports using a drag-and-drop interface. You can connect to various data sources, transform data, and create complex visualizations. Publishing. Once created, reports are published to the Power BI service where they can be accessed, shared, and interacted with. Editing. Reports can be edited in Power BI Desktop and republished to update the published version in the Power BI service. 3.2. Dashboards. Creation. Created in the Power BI service by pinning visuals from reports or datasets. You can create new dashboards or modify existing ones by adding, resizing, or rearranging tiles. Management. Managed within the Power BI service. You can set up alerts, apply dashboard-level filters, and configure tile settings. Updates. Dashboards automatically update as underlying data or report visuals change. You don't edit the dashboard directly, but modify the source reports or datasets. 4. Usage and interactivity. 4.1. Reports. Detailed analysis. Ideal for in-depth analysis. Users can interact with visuals to drill down, slice data, and analyze different aspects of the data. Multiple pages. Provides the ability to navigate through different pages for comprehensive insights. Complex filters. Supports complex filtering and cross-filtering across visuals and pages. 4.2. Dashboards. Overview and monitoring. Best for high-level monitoring and quick insights. Provides a consolidated view of key metrics and data points. Single page. Displays a summary of metrics on a single page. Users get a snapshot of important data without navigating through multiple pages. Tile-level interaction. Offers interactive features like pinning visuals and applying dashboard-wide filters, but has limited drill-down capabilities. 5. Sharing and collaboration. 5.1. Reports. Sharing. Reports can be shared with users or groups via the Power BI service. Sharing options include embedding in apps, sharing via email, or publishing to the web. Collaboration allows for detailed exploration and discussion of data within teams. Users can comment on reports and collaborate on findings. 5.2 Dashboards. Sharing. Dashboards can be shared with individuals or groups within the organization. They can be shared via the Power BI service, embedded in apps, or through direct links. Collaboration provides a consolidated view for team members to monitor and review key metrics. Collaboration is focused on high-level insights rather than detailed data exploration. 6. Performance and optimization. 6.1 Reports. Performance. Performance can vary based on the complexity of visuals, data volume, and data model. Optimization involves simplifying data models, using aggregations, and improving query performance. Complex queries. Reports can handle complex queries and calculations, affecting performance depending on the dataset size and report complexity. 6.2 Dashboards. Performance. Dashboards typically load quickly because they display a snapshot of data. Performance depends on the efficiency of the underlying datasets and the complexity of the pinned visuals. Snapshot-based. Dashboards are designed for efficient loading of summarized data, making them less demanding on performance compared to detailed reports. Summary. Reports are detailed, multi-page documents ideal for in-depth analysis and exploration of data, created and edited in Power BI Desktop and published to the Power BI service. Dashboards provide a high-level overview of key metrics on a single page, aggregating visuals from various reports and datasets. They are created and managed in the Power BI service and are used for quick monitoring and insights. 1. Understanding data refresh. 1.1 Types of data refresh. Manual refresh. Initiated manually by the user to update the data in reports or dashboards. This can be done from within the Power BI service or Power BI Desktop. Scheduled refresh. Automated process where data is refreshed at predefined intervals. This ensures that data remains current without manual intervention. 1.2 Data sources and connectivity. Direct query connects live to the data source. Data is queried in real time, so no refresh is needed within Power BI. However, performance and query capabilities depend on the source. Import mode. Data is imported into Power BI. Data refresh is required to update the dataset with the latest information from the source. Live connection. Similar to direct query, but often used with specific data sources like SQL Server Analysis Services, SSA. 2. Configuring data refresh. 2.1 Setting up scheduled refresh. Navigate to dataset settings. In Power BI service, go to the workspace containing your dataset. Click on the ellipses next to the dataset and select Settings. Schedule refresh. Under the Scheduled Refresh section, toggle the switch to On to enable scheduled refresh. Configure refresh schedule. Frequency. Set the frequency of the refresh, daily, weekly, etc. Time zone. Select the appropriate time zone for the refresh schedule. Time and days. Specify the exact times and days of the week when the refresh should occur. Save settings. Click Apply to save the scheduled refresh settings. 2.2 Data source credentials. Manage credentials. Ensure that the credentials for your data source are correctly set up. Go to the dataset settings and under Data Source Credentials, enter or update the credentials needed for accessing the data. Authentication methods. Depending on the data source, you might use OAuth2, basic authentication, or other methods. 2.3 Refresh history. Check refresh status. In the dataset settings, review the refresh history to monitor the success or failure of recent refreshes. Error notifications. Set up email notifications to alert you if a refresh fails. This can be configured in the scheduled refresh settings. 3. Advanced data refresh settings. 3.1 Incremental refresh. Definition. Incremental refresh updates only the data that is changed since the last refresh. rather than reloading the entire dataset. This is useful for large datasets and reduces refresh times. Configure incremental refresh. Power by Desktop. Define incremental refresh policies by configuring parameters in Power by Desktop. Go to the Modeling tab, click Manage Parameters, and set up parameters for filtering data based on date or other criteria. Data flows. In Power by Data Flows, configure incremental refresh rules similarly to manage large datasets efficiently. Publish and configure. After setting up incremental refresh in Power by Desktop, publish the report to the Power by service and ensure that the incremental refresh settings are applied correctly. 3.2. Data Flow Refresh. Data Flows Overview. Data flows are used to transform and prepare data before it's used in reports. They are particularly useful for ETL, extract, transform, load processes. Configure Refresh. Navigate to the workspace containing the data flow. Click on Data Flows, select the data flow, and go to Settings to configure refresh schedules similarly to datasets. Dependencies. Ensure that data flows are refreshed before datasets that depend on them to avoid data inconsistencies. 3.3. API-based refresh. Power by REST API. For more advanced scenarios, you can use the Power by REST API to trigger data refresh programmatically. This is useful for custom applications or integrations. API endpoints. Use endpoints like write single quote /datasets/datasetted/refreshes to initiate refreshes. Authentication is required, and you may need to manage API permissions. 4. Best practices for data refresh. 4.1. Monitor performance. Refresh time. Regularly monitor the time taken for data refreshes. Optimize data models and queries to improve refresh performance. Data size. Consider the size of the data being refreshed. For large datasets, incremental refresh and data flow optimization can help. 4.2. Error handling. Refresh failures. Investigate and resolve any errors that occur during the refresh process. Check error messages in the refresh history for guidance. Alerts. Set up alerts and notifications to stay informed about the status of your data refreshes. 4.3. Data governance. Data quality. Ensure data quality by validating data before and after refreshes. Implement data quality checks and transformation rules as part of the refresh process. Security. Review data source credentials and access permissions regularly to ensure that only authorized users can access and refresh the data. 5. Troubleshooting data refresh. 5.1. Common issues. Credential errors. Verify that credentials are up to date and have the necessary permissions for accessing the data source. Timeouts. Increase timeout settings or optimize queries if refreshes are timing out. Data source changes. Ensure that any changes to the data source structure are reflected in the Power by dataset. 5.2. Refresh history review. Review logs. Check refresh history logs in Power by Service for details on successful and failed refresh attempts. Detailed error messages. Analyze detailed error messages to identify and address specific issues. 1. Sharing reports and dashboards. 1.1. Sharing options. 1.1. 1. Direct sharing. Share button. Open the report or dashboard in Power by Service. Click on the Share button, usually found at the top right corner. Enter recipients. Enter the email addresses of individuals or groups you want to share with. You can also set permissions, view only or allow sharing. Include a message. Optionally, include a custom message to provide context or instructions to the recipients. 1.1. 2. Publish to web. Publish to web. This option generates a public URL and embed code for the report or dashboard, making it accessible to anyone with the link. Go to File greater than Publish to Web. Public access. Be cautious with this method as it makes your content publicly accessible. It is suitable for sharing general insights with a broad audience but not for sensitive data. 1.1.3 Share via apps. Create an app. Combine multiple reports and dashboards into an app and distribute it to users within your organization. Navigate to the workspace, click Create App, and include the desired content. App permissions. Manage app permissions to control who can view or interact with the content. Apps provide a cohesive experience for users accessing related reports and dashboards. 1.1.4 SharePoint and Microsoft Teams integration. SharePoint integration. Embed Power BI reports directly into SharePoint online pages using the Power BI web part. Teams integration. Share reports and dashboards within Microsoft Teams channels by adding them as tabs or sharing links to the content. 1.1.5 Exporting and printing. Export options. Export reports to PDF, PowerPoint, or Excel for offline viewing or presentation. Go to File greater than Export and choose the desired format. Print reports. Print reports directly from Power BI service by using the Print option. 2. Managing permissions. 2.1 Workspace permissions. Roles and access. In Power BI service, navigate to the workspace where the report or dashboard is stored. Click on Access or Settings to manage permissions. Roles. Assign roles like admin, member, contributor, or viewer based on the level of access required. Each role has specific permissions regarding editing, sharing, and viewing contents. 2.2 Report level permissions. Manage permissions. Open the report or dashboard, click on the ellipses, and select Manage Permissions. Here, you can view and modify who has access to the report or dashboard, grant and remove access, add users or groups, and specify their permission levels. You can also remove access for individuals or groups. 2.3 Role Level Security, RLS. Define roles. Set up RLS in Power BI Desktop to control data visibility based on user roles. Define roles and rules that filter data based on user attributes. Publish and assign roles. Publish the report with RLS to Power BI service. In the service, assign users or groups to specific roles to enforce data security. 2.4 Dataset permissions. Manage dataset access. Ensure that users who access reports and dashboards have the appropriate permissions for the underlying datasets. Access control. Restrict or grant access to datasets based on user roles and data sensitivity. 3. Collaboration features. 3.1 Comments and annotations. Adding comments. Users can add comments to reports and dashboards to facilitate discussions. Click on the comments icon to open the commenting pane. Threaded discussions. Engage in threaded discussions within comments, allowing users to reply and track conversations related to specific visuals or data points. 3.2 Collaboration in workspaces. Team collaboration. Workspaces are designed for team collaboration. Members of a workspace can co-author and contribute to reports, dashboards, and datasets. Version control. Use version control practices to manage changes and ensure that updates are tracked and documented. 3.3 Data alerts and notifications. Setting alerts. Configure data alerts to receive notifications when data meets certain conditions. Click on a tile in a dashboard, select Manage Alerts, and set thresholds for notifications. Alert notifications. Receive alerts via email or within the Power BI service when data changes, ensuring timely awareness of critical metrics. 3.4 Bookmark sharing. Create bookmarks. Use bookmarks to capture and share specific views or states of a report. Bookmarks can be used to highlight particular data insights or storylines. Share bookmarked views. Share bookmarks with others to direct them to specific insights or scenarios within the report. 4. Security and compliance. 4.1 Data privacy. Data governance. Implement data governance policies to manage data access, and ensure compliance with privacy regulations. Sensitive data. Avoid sharing sensitive data or use role-level security and data masking techniques to protect confidential information. 4.2. Audit and monitoring. Usage metrics. Monitor, report, and dashboard usage metrics to understand how and by whom your content is being accessed. This helps in identifying engagement patterns and potential issues. Audit logs. Review audit logs for tracking changes, access patterns, and potential security breaches. 4.3. Compliance. Regulatory compliance. Ensure that sharing practices adhere to organizational and regulatory compliance standards. Access reviews. Regularly review and update access permissions to align with organizational policies and user roles. 5. Best practices. 5.1. Maintain clear communication. Inform recipients. Clearly communicate the purpose and context of shared reports and dashboards to ensure recipients understand the content. Documentation. Provide documentation or guidance on how to interpret and use the shared content. 5.2. Manage permissions efficiently. Regular reviews. Periodically review and update permissions to ensure that only authorized users have access to sensitive or critical data. Role-based access. Use role-based access control to simplify permission management and enhance security. 5.3. Optimize collaboration. Engage users. Actively engage users in discussions and feedback to improve reports and dashboards. Encourage best practices. Promote best practices for data analysis and visualization within collaborative teams. Security in Power BI is essential for protecting data, ensuring compliance, and maintaining user privacy. Power BI provides a variety of security features to manage data access and protect sensitive information. Here's an in-depth look at Power BI's security features. 1. Data security. 1.1. Data encryption. At rest. Power BI encrypts data at rest using Advanced Encryption Standard, AES, with a 256-bit key. This ensures that stored data is protected from unauthorized access. In transit, data transmitted between Power BI and users is encrypted using Transport Layer Security, TLS protocols. This protects data during transfer from interception or tampering. 1.2. Role-level security, RLS. Definition: RLS restricts data access based on user roles. It allows different users to view different subsets of data within the same report or dataset. Configuring RLS. Define roles. In Power BI Desktop, create roles and set DAX filters to define which data each role can see. Assign roles. Publish the report to Power BI Service and assign users to the appropriate roles to enforce data security. 1.3. Data masking. Dynamic data masking. Used in data sources to hide sensitive data by masking it. For instance, showing only partial information, such as the last 4 digits of a social security number. Implementation. Configure data masking rules in the data source, for example, SQL Server, and use Power BI to visualize masked data. 2. Access control. 2.1. Workspace roles and permissions. Roles. Admin. Full control over the workspace, including settings, permissions, and content management. Member. Can contribute to and manage content within the workspace, but cannot modify workspace settings. Contributor. Can add and update content, but has limited access to workspace settings. Viewer. Can only view content and cannot make changes. Managing permissions. Access workspace settings in Power BI Service to assign roles and manage permissions for users and groups. 2.2. Dataset permissions. Manage access. Control who can access datasets used in reports and dashboards. This ensures that only authorized users can interact with sensitive data. Dataset level security. Configure dataset security settings to manage user access and prevent unauthorized use of data. 2.3. App permissions. Publishing apps. Create and publish Power BI apps to distribute reports and dashboards to a broader audience. App permissions. Control who can view, edit, or manage the app. Set permissions based on user roles and organizational needs. 3. Authentication and authorization. 3.1. Authentication methods. Azure Active Directory, AAD, Power BI uses Azure AD for authentication, which supports single sign-on, SSO, and multi-factor authentication, MFA. Oath 2. Used for connecting to data sources and services. Oath 2 tokens are used to authorize access to data. 3.2. User access management. User roles. Assign roles to users based on their responsibilities and data access needs. Access reviews. Regularly review and update user access to ensure that permissions align with current roles and responsibilities. 3.3. External sharing. Guest access. Allow external users to access Power BI content through Azure B2B Guest Access. Configure guest permissions to control what they can view and interact with. Data security for sharing. Use secure sharing options and review external sharing settings to protect sensitive data. 4. Compliance and governance. 4.1. Data privacy. Compliance standards. Power BI adheres to industry standards and regulations such as GDPR, HIPAA, and CCP to ensure data privacy and protection. Data sovereignty. Data residency and sovereignty controls allow organizations to manage where their data is stored and processed. 4.2. Audit and monitoring. Audit logs. Power BI provides audit logs that track user activities, including login attempts, report accesses, and data modifications. Activity monitoring. Monitor usage metrics and activity logs to ensure compliance and detect potential security issues. 4.3. Data retention policies. Retention settings. Define data retention policies to manage how long data is kept in Power BI and ensure compliance with organizational and regulatory requirements. Data deletion. Implement processes for data deletion when it is no longer needed or when users leave the organization. 5. Best practices for security. 5.1. Implement least privilege. Minimal permissions. Grant users the minimum permissions necessary for their roles. Avoid giving broader access than required. Role-based access control. Use role-based access control, RBAC, to manage permissions and ensure users have appropriate access based on their responsibilities. 5.2. Regularly review permissions. Access reviews. Periodically review user permissions and access rights to ensure they are up to date and reflect current needs. Audit trails. Regularly review audit trails to track changes and monitor for unusual activities. 5.3. Secure data sources. Data source security. Ensure that data sources connected to Power BI are secure and comply with organizational security policies. Credential management. Use secure methods for managing credentials and authentication tokens for data sources. 5.4. Educate users. Security training. Provide training to users on data security best practices, including handling sensitive data and recognizing phishing attempts. Security policies. Communicate organizational security policies and procedures to ensure users understand their responsibilities. 1. Power BI licensing overview. Power BI licensing includes different tiers that cater to varying needs, from individual users to large enterprises. The main licensing options are Power BI Free, Power BI Pro, Power BI Premium, Power BI Premium per User, PPU, Power BI Embedded. 2. Power BI Free. 2.1. Features. Basic visualizations. Access to Power BI Desktop for creating reports and visualizations. Local use. Users can work with their own data and publish reports to the Power BI service for personal use. Data sources. Connect to various data sources and create local datasets. 2.2. Limitations. No sharing. Cannot share reports or dashboards with others. Sharing capabilities are restricted. Limited collaboration. No access to collaboration features or advanced functionalities like data refresh scheduling. No access to premium features. Does not include access to premium features such as large dataset storage or dedicated capacity. 3. Power by Pro 3.1. Features. Sharing and collaboration. Allows sharing of reports, dashboards, and datasets with other Power by Pro users. Supports collaboration within workspaces. Data refresh. Scheduled data refreshes and data source connectivity. Data modeling. Advanced data modeling and DAX, data analysis expressions capabilities. Usage metrics. Access to usage metrics and analytics for shared content. 3.2. Licensing. Cost. Requires a per-user subscription. Pricing is typically around $10 per user per month, subject to change. Trial. Offers a 60-day free trial for new users or organizations to evaluate the Pro features. 3.3. Target audience. Individuals and teams. Suitable for individuals and small to medium-sized teams needing sharing and collaboration features. 4. Power by Premium. 4.1. Features. Dedicated capacity. Provides dedicated cloud resources, capacity, for improved performance and scalability. Advanced features. Includes features such as larger data model sizes, up to 400 GB per dataset, paginated reports, and data flow storage. Enhanced data refresh. More frequent and larger scale data refreshes. On-premises reporting. Includes Power by Report Server for on-premises report hosting. 4.2. Licensing. Cost. Pricing is based on capacity rather than per user. Pricing varies depending on the capacity size, for example, P1, P2, P3, and is typically more expensive. Per user option. Power by Premium also offers a per user option, Power by Premium per user, for advanced features without needing full capacity. 4.3. Target audience. Large organizations. Suitable for large organizations needing advanced features, high performance, and scalability. 5. Power by Premium per user, PPU. 5.1. Features. Advanced capabilities. Includes features of Power by Premium, such as larger data model sizes, paginated reports, and data flow storage, but on a per-user basis. Shared capacity. Provides premium features without requiring full capacity. 5.2. Licensing. Cost. Pricing is per user, typically higher than Power by Pro. The cost is generally around $20 per user per month, subject to change. 5.3. Target audience. Power users and small teams. Ideal for users or small teams needing premium features without the cost of dedicated capacity. 6. Power by Embedded. 6.1. Features. Embedding. Allows embedding of Power by visuals and reports into applications and websites. Custom branding. Offers customization and integration options for embedded analytics. 6.2. Licensing. Cost. Based on usage and capacity, often calculated per session or based on the size of the embedded environment. Pricing varies depending on the chosen capacity model. Discuss. Integration. Suitable for independent software vendors, ISVs, and developers needing to integrate Power by into their applications. 6.3. Target audience. Developers and ISVs. Ideal for embedding analytics and reports within custom applications or services. 7. Licensing considerations. 7.1. User needs. Determine requirements. Assess the needs of your users, such as whether they need advanced features, sharing capabilities, or dedicated capacity. Scalability. Consider how your licensing choice scales with the size of your organization and user base. 7.2. Cost management. Budgeting. Plan and budget for licensing costs based on the number of users, features required, and expected usage. Monitoring. Regularly review and adjust licensing based on changing needs and usage patterns. 7.3. Compliance and governance. Data governance. Ensure that your licensing choice aligns with your organization's data governance and compliance requirements. Security. Verify that your licensing plan supports the necessary security features and access controls. 7.4. Trial and evaluation. Free trials. Take advantage of free trials to evaluate features and determine the best fit for your organization. User feedback. Gather feedback from users to ensure that the chosen licensing plan meets their needs effectively. 1. App Workspaces 1.1. Overview. Definition. An app workspace is a container in Power BI service where teams can collaborate on reports, dashboards, datasets, and data flows. It's designed to facilitate collaboration and content management within an organization. Purpose. Workspaces allow teams to work together on Power BI content, manage permissions, and organize resources efficiently. 1.2. Creating an app workspace. Access. In Power BI service, navigate to the Workspaces section. Create workspace. Click Create a workspace and enter the required details. Name. Provide a name for the workspace. Description. Add a description to clarify the purpose of the workspace. Image. Optionally, upload an image to represent the workspace. Advanced settings. Configure additional settings such as data storage and capacity if needed. 1.3. Managing app workspaces. Roles and permissions. Admin. Full control over the workspace, including user management and content settings. Member. Can contribute content and manage workspace settings, but has limited administrative access. Contributor. Can add and update content, but cannot manage workspace settings. Viewer. Can view content, but cannot make changes. Adding members. Go to the workspace settings and add users or groups, assigning them appropriate roles based on their responsibilities. 1.4. Content management. Upload and share. Upload reports, dashboards, datasets, and data flows to the workspace. Share content with other workspace members or external users as needed. Organize content. Use folders and naming conventions to organize content effectively within the workspace. 1.5. Workspace collaboration. Collaborate on content. Team members can co-author and collaborate on reports and dashboards within the workspace. Comments and discussions. Use the comments feature to discuss specific data points or visualizations directly within the reports and dashboards. 1.6. Workspace usage metrics. Monitor activity. Review workspace usage metrics to understand how content is being accessed and used. This helps in optimizing performance and managing contents. 2. Power BI Apps 2.1. Overview. Definition. A Power BI app is a collection of related Power BI content, including dashboards, reports, and datasets, packaged into a single, shareable entity. Apps provide a streamlined way to distribute content to users. Purpose. Apps are used to deliver a curated set of content to end users, often for specific business functions or departments. 2.2. Creating an app. Access. In Power BI service, go to the workspace where you have published contents. Create app. Click on Create app to start the process. App configuration. App name. Provide a name for the app. Description. Add a description to inform users about the app's purpose and contents. Logo. Optionally, upload a logo to represent the app. Content selection. Choose the reports, dashboards, and datasets you want to include in the app. Navigation and layout. Customize the app's navigation pane to make it easy for users to find and access content. 2.3. Publishing and sharing. Publish app. Once configured, Publish the app to make it available to users. Permissions. Set permissions to control who can view the app. You can share the app with individuals, groups, or the entire organization. Update and versioning. Update the app as needed by adding or removing content and republishing it. Users will see the updated version of the app automatically. 2.4. Managing apps. App settings. Manage app settings, including permissions and content updates, from the app settings page. Monitor usage. Review app usage metrics to track how users interact with the app and its content. 2.5. App deployment. Distribute apps. Distribute apps to various departments or business units to provide tailored insights and reporting. User experience. Ensure that the app provides a coherent and user-friendly experience with relevant content and clear navigation. 3. Best practices for app workspaces and apps. 3.1. Organize workspaces. Clear naming conventions. Use clear and descriptive names for workspaces to make it easy for team members to identify their purpose. Efficient content management. Regularly review and clean up outdated or irrelevant content to keep workspaces organized and manageable. 3.2. Collaborate effectively. Role assignment. Assign appropriate roles to team members based on their responsibilities and needs. Avoid giving unnecessary administrative access. Communication. Use comments and discussions to facilitate collaboration and ensure that team members are aligned on content and objectives. 3.3. App configuration. Curated content. Include only relevant and high-quality content in apps to provide a streamlined user experience. User feedback. Gather feedback from users to improve app content and navigation. 3.4. Security and permissions. Manage access. Regularly review and update permissions for both workspaces and apps to ensure that only authorized users have access. Data security. Ensure that sensitive data is protected and that access is restricted based on user roles and needs. 3.5. Performance monitoring. Monitor usage metrics. Regularly review usage metrics and performance data to identify areas for improvement and optimize content delivery. 1. Managing workspaces. 1.1. Workspace creation and configuration. 1.1. 1. Creating a workspace. Access Power BI Service. Navigate to the Workspaces section in Power BI Service. Create workspace. Click Create a workspace and enter the following details. Name. Provide a unique name for the workspace. Description. Add a description to clarify the purpose of the workspace. Image. Optionally, upload an image to visually represent the workspace. Advanced settings. Configure additional settings such as data storage and capacity, if applicable. 1.1. 2. Workspace settings. Workspace roles. Manage roles such as admin, member, contributor, and viewer to control access and permissions. Data storage. Set data storage settings to manage how and where data is stored within the workspace. 1.2. Content management. 1.2. 1. Uploading and organizing content. Upload reports and dashboards. Add reports, dashboards, datasets, and data flows to the workspace. Organize content. Use folders and naming conventions to keep content organized and easily accessible. 1.2. 2. Sharing and permissions. Share content. Share reports, dashboards, and datasets with other users or groups within and outside the workspace. Manage permissions. Review and adjust permissions regularly to ensure appropriate access levels. 1.3. Collaboration and version control. 1.3. 1. Collaborative features. Comments. Use the commenting feature to facilitate discussions about specific data points or visualizations within reports and dashboards. Co-authoring. Collaborate on content creation and editing with other team members in real time. 1.3. 2. Version control. Track changes. Maintain a version history of reports and dashboards to track changes and updates. Restore previous versions. Revert to previous versions if needed to recover from unwanted changes or errors. 1.4. Data refresh and maintenance. 1.4. 1. Scheduled data refresh. Configure refresh schedules. Set up scheduled refreshes for datasets to ensure that data is updated regularly. Monitor refresh status. Check the status of scheduled refreshes and address any errors or issues. 1.4. 2. Data flows and ETL. Manage data flows. Create and manage data flows to perform extract, transform, load, ETL operations on data. Optimize performance. Regularly review and optimize data flows to ensure efficient data processing. 1.5. Managing users and roles. 1.5. 1. User management. Add and remove users. Add or remove users from the workspace and assign appropriate roles based on their responsibilities. Review user roles. Regularly review user roles and permissions to ensure that they are aligned with current needs. 1.5. 2. Role-based access control. Define roles. Clearly define roles and responsibilities for workspace members to manage access and collaboration effectively. Adjust access. Adjust access levels as needed to reflect changes in user roles or responsibilities. 2. Monitoring workspaces. 2.1. Usage metrics. 2.1. 1. Workspace usage metrics. Access metrics. In Power BI Service, navigate to the workspace and select Usage Metrics to view statistics on report and dashboard usage. Analyze data. Review metrics such as the number of views, users, and interactions to understand how content is being used. 2.1. 2. Report and dashboard metrics. View report metrics. Access metrics for individual reports and dashboards to monitor user engagement and performance. Optimize content. Use insights from metrics to optimize content, improve user experience, and address any issues. 2.2. Performance monitoring. 2.2. 1. Performance analyzer. Analyze performance. Use the Performance Analyzer tool in Power BI Desktop to identify performance issues in reports and dashboards. Optimize performance. Address performance issues by optimizing data models, queries, and visualizations. 2.2. 2. Capacity metrics. Monitor capacity usage. If using Power BI Premium, monitor capacity metrics to track resource usage and performance. Scale capacity. Adjust capacity based on usage patterns and performance requirements to ensure optimal performance. 2.3. Data refresh monitoring. 2.3. 1. Refresh status. Check refresh status. Monitor the status of scheduled data refreshes to ensure that they are completing successfully. Address errors. Investigate and resolve any errors or issues with data refreshes to maintain data accuracy and reliability. 2.3. 2. Refresh history. Review refresh history. Access the refresh history to view past refreshes and identify any recurring issues or patterns. 2.4. Security and compliance monitoring. 2.4. 1. Audit logs. Access audit logs. Review audit logs to track user activities, changes, and access patterns within the workspace. Monitor for anomalies. Identify and address any unusual or unauthorized activities. 2.4. 2. Compliance reports. Generate compliance reports. Create reports to ensure compliance with organizational and regulatory requirements. Review regularly. Regularly review compliance reports to ensure adherence to data governance policies. 2.5. Alerts and notifications. 2.5. 1. Set up alerts. Configure alerts. Set up data alerts to receive notifications when data meets specific conditions or thresholds. Manage notifications. Review and manage alert notifications to stay informed about critical data changes. 2.5. 2. Monitor notifications. Check notifications. Regularly check notifications to stay updated on important events and issues related to the workspace. 3. Best practices for managing and monitoring workspaces. 3.1. Regular reviews. Review workspaces periodically. Regularly review workspace settings, content, and permissions to ensure they are up to date and aligned with organizational needs. Update content. Keep reports, dashboards, and datasets updated with relevant and accurate information. 3.2. Optimize performance. Performance tuning. Continuously optimize data models, queries, and visualizations to improve report performance. Monitor and adjust capacity. Regularly monitor capacity usage and adjust as needed to maintain optimal performance. 3.3. Ensure data security. Manage access. Regularly review and update user access and permissions to ensure that data is protected and only accessible by authorized users. Implement data governance. Follow data governance practices to manage data privacy, security, and compliance. 3.4. Foster collaboration. Encourage communication. Use comments and discussions to facilitate collaboration and ensure that team members are aligned on content and objectives. Provide training. Train users on how to use Power BI effectively and follow best practices for content creation and management. 1. Overview of data flows. 1.1. Definition. Data flows are a collection of data transformation steps that allow you to extract, transform, and load TL data. They are stored in the Power BI service and can be reused across different datasets and reports. 1.2. Purpose. Centralized data transformation. Provide a centralized place to perform data transformations and cleaning before using the data in reports and dashboards. Reuse and sharing. Allow for the reuse of transformed data across multiple reports and datasets, promoting consistency and efficiency. 2. Creating and configuring data flows. 2.1. Accessing data flows. Power BI service. Navigate to the Power BI service and go to a workspace where you want to create the data flow. 2.2. Creating a data flow. Create data flow. Click on Create and select Data Flow. Choose Data Source. Select the data source you want to connect to. For example, SQL Server, Excel, SharePoint. Data connection. Configure the connection settings to connect to your data source. This typically involves specifying connection strings, credentials, and other connection details. 2.3. Defining data transformation steps. Data loading. Load data from your selected source into the data flow. Transform data. Use the Power Query Editor to perform data transformation tasks such as filtering, merging, and aggregating data. This editor provides a user-friendly interface for applying various transformation steps. 2.4. Saving and publishing data flows. Save data flow. After configuring your data flow and applying transformations, save it. Publish data flow. Publish the data flow to the Power BI service to make it available for use in datasets and reports. 3. Managing data flows. 3.1. Data flow settings. Data flow properties. Configure properties such as name, description, and refresh settings. Data flow parameters. Define parameters to make data flows more flexible and reusable across different scenarios. 3.2. Data refresh. Schedule refresh. Set up a scheduled refresh to keep the data in the data flow up to date. This involves specifying refresh intervals and configuring any necessary authentication settings. Monitor refresh status. Track the status of scheduled refreshes and address any errors or issues that arise. 3.3. Data flow dependencies. View dependencies. Use the dependency view to understand how different data flows and datasets are interconnected. This helps in managing and troubleshooting data dependencies. 3.4. Reusing and sharing data flows. Using datasets. Create datasets that use the data from your data flows as a data source. This allows for centralized data transformation and analysis. Share data flows. Share data flows with other users or groups to promote collaboration and consistency across different reports and projects. 4. Advanced data flow features. 4.1. Data flow storage. Storage options. Data flows are stored in the Power BI service and can be accessed from different workspaces. They benefit from Power BI's cloud storage capabilities, ensuring that data is available and secure. 4.2. Integration with Azure Data Services. Azure Data Lake Storage. Data flows can be integrated with Azure Data Lake Storage, ADLS, for advanced data storage and management capabilities. Power Query Online. Utilize Power Query Online for advanced data transformation tasks and integration with other Azure services. 4.3. Data Flow Templates. Templates. Use data flow templates to create standardized data transformation pipelines that can be reused across different projects or datasets. 4.4. Performance optimization. Optimize data flows. Optimize data flows by reducing unnecessary transformations, managing data volume, and leveraging efficient queries to enhance performance. 5. Best practices for data flows. 5.1. Design for reusability. Modular design. Design data flows to be modular and reusable across different reports and datasets. This promotes consistency and reduces duplication of effort. Parameterization. Use parameters to make data flows flexible and adaptable to different scenarios. 5.2. Monitor and manage performance. Performance monitoring. Regularly monitor the performance of data flows and optimize them to ensure efficient data processing and loading. Error handling. Implement error handling and logging mechanisms to manage and troubleshoot issues effectively. 5.3. Maintain data quality. Data validation. Implement data validation and quality checks within data flows to ensure accurate and reliable data. Data governance. Follow data governance practices to manage data access, security, and compliance effectively. 5.4. Regularly review and update. Review data flows. Regularly review and update data flows to ensure they meet current data requirements and performance standards. Documentation. Document data flows and transformation steps to provide clarity and support for future maintenance and updates. 6. Troubleshooting data flows. 6.1. Refresh failures. Error messages. Review error messages and logs to identify the cause of refresh failures. Data source issues. Check data source connections and credentials to resolve connectivity issues. 6.2. Performance issues. Query optimization. Optimize queries and transformation steps to improve data flow performance. Resource allocation. Ensure adequate resources are allocated for data processing and transformation tasks. 6.3. Data quality issues. Data validation. Implement data validation rules to identify and address data quality issues. Transformation errors. Review transformation steps to ensure they are applied correctly and consistently. 1. Data model optimization. 1.1. Data model design. Star schema. Use a star schema design with fact tables and dimension tables. This design reduces complexity and improves query performance. Normalization. Normalize data to eliminate redundancy, but balance it with the need for efficient querying. Avoid over-normalization as it may complicate queries. 1.2. Reducing data volume. Aggregate data. Use aggregated tables to reduce the volume of detailed data. Pre-compute summaries or aggregations that can speed up report performance. Filter data. Apply filters to limit the data loaded into the model. Only include relevant data that users need for analysis. 1.3. Column data types. Optimize data types. Use the most efficient data types for your columns. For example, integers instead of strings for categorical data. This reduces storage size and improves performance. Avoid unnecessary columns. Remove columns that are not used in reports or calculations to reduce the model size and improve efficiency. 1.4. Measures and calculated columns. Optimize DAX formulas. Write efficient DAX formulas and avoid complex calculations that can slow down performance. Use variables to simplify and optimize calculations. Pre-compute values. Use calculated columns sparingly and consider pre-computing values when possible. 2. Query optimization. 2.1. Query Performance Analyzer. Use Performance Analyzer. Use the Performance Analyzer tool in Power BI Desktop to analyze and identify performance bottlenecks in your reports. It provides insights into how long queries take to execute. 2.2. Efficient Query Design. Optimize queries. Write efficient queries by avoiding complex joins, subqueries, and unnecessary data transformations. Use indexes and optimize query plans in your source databases. Reduce query load. Minimize the number of queries sent to the data source by using data models and aggregations effectively. 2.3. Data Source Optimization. Source optimization. Optimize data sources, for example, SQL databases, by tuning performance, indexing tables, and optimizing stored procedures or views used in your reports. Direct query versus import. Choose between direct query and import mode based on performance requirements. Direct query can be slower due to real-time querying, but reduces data load, while import mode loads data into Power BI for faster performance. 3. Report optimization. 3.1. Visualizations. Limit visuals. Reduce the number of visuals on a single report page. Excessive visuals can slow down performance due to increased rendering time. Optimize visuals. Use efficient visuals and avoid complex custom visuals that can impact performance. Use built-in visuals where possible. 3.2. Pagination and drill-through. Implement pagination. Use paginated reports or implement page navigation to manage large datasets and reduce the load on a single report page. Use drill-through. Implement drill-through reports to allow users to explore detailed data on separate pages, reducing the complexity of the main report page. 3.3. Report interactivity. Optimize filters and slicers. Use efficient filters and slicers to reduce the amount of data being processed. Avoid excessive slicers or filters that may impact performance. Avoid cross-filtering. Limit the use of cross-filtering and cross-highlighting between visuals if it results in performance issues. 4. Dataset and data flow optimization. 4.1. Data flows. Optimize data flows. Ensure that data flows are optimized for performance by reducing the volume of data processed and applying efficient transformations. Monitor data flow refreshes. Monitor and optimize data flow refresh schedules to prevent conflicts and ensure timely data updates. 4.2. Dataset optimization. Incremental refresh. Use incremental refresh to update only the new or changed data instead of refreshing the entire dataset. This can significantly reduce refresh times. Dataset size. Monitor and manage dataset sizes to ensure they remain within Power BI's limits and perform efficiently. 5. Capacity and performance monitoring. 5.1. Premium capacity. Monitor capacity usage. For premium capacity, monitor the capacity metrics to understand resource usage and performance. This helps in managing and scaling capacity as needed. Optimize capacity allocation. Adjust capacity settings based on performance needs and usage patterns. Allocate resources effectively to meet performance requirements. 5.2. Usage metrics. Analyze usage metrics. Review usage metrics to understand how users interact with reports and dashboards. Identify performance issues and optimize accordingly. Set up alerts. Configure alerts for performance issues or data refresh failures to address problems proactively. 6. Best practices for performance optimization. 6.1. Data modeling. Plan the data model. Design the data model with performance in mind. Use efficient relationships, aggregations, and data structures. Test performance. Regularly test and validate the performance of data models and reports during development. 6.2. Query and report design. Optimize during design. Incorporate performance optimization techniques during the design phase of queries and reports. Monitor and iterate. Continuously monitor performance and make iterative improvements based on feedback and usage data. 6.3. Collaboration and training. Educate users. Train users on best practices for report design and usage to ensure that reports are used efficiently. Collaborate on performance issues. Work with team members to address performance issues and share best practices for optimization. 6.4. Regular reviews. Perform regular reviews. Regularly review and update data models, queries, and reports to ensure they remain optimized as data and requirements evolve. Stay updated. Keep abreast of updates and new features in Power BI that can impact performance and optimization strategies. Deployment pipelines in Power BI provide a structured and automated approach to manage the lifecycle of Power BI content, including development, testing, and production environments. This feature helps streamline the deployment of Power BI reports, datasets, and data flows, ensuring a smooth transition from development to production while maintaining quality and consistency. Here's a comprehensive guide to understanding and using deployment pipelines in Power BI. 1. Overview of deployment pipelines. 1.1. Definition. Deployment pipelines are a feature in Power BI that enables you to manage the lifecycle of Power BI content across multiple environments, such as development, testing, and production. They provide a systematic way to deploy and promote Power BI artifacts through these environments. 1.2. Purpose. Streamline deployment. Automate and simplify the process of deploying Power BI content across different stages. Maintain consistency. Ensure the content is consistent and accurate as it moves through the deployment stages. Improve quality. Test and validate content in staging environments before deploying it to production. 2. Setting up deployment pipelines. 2.1. Accessing deployment pipelines. Power BI service. Navigate to the Power BI service and go to the workspace where you want to set up deployment pipelines. 2.2. Creating a deployment pipeline. Create pipeline. Click on Create Pipeline to start setting up a new pipeline. Pipeline configuration. Name. Provide a name for the pipeline. Description. Add a description to define the purpose and scope of the pipeline. Stages. Define the stages of the pipeline, typically including development, test, and production. 2.3. Configuring environments. Development environment. Set up the development environment where initial report and dataset development occurs. Test environment. Set up the test environment to validate and review changes before moving them to production. Production environment. Set up the production environment where finalized content is published and used by end users. 3. Managing deployment pipelines. 3.1. Deploying content. Move content. Use the pipeline to move content, for example, reports, datasets, data flows, from one environment to another. You can promote content from development to test and then to production. Data source mapping. Ensure that data sources are properly mapped and updated as content moves through different environments. This may involve changing connection strings or credentials. 3.2. Monitoring deployment status. Deployment status. Monitor the status of deployments to track progress and identify any issues. The pipeline provides insights into the success or failure of deployments. Error handling. Address any errors or issues encountered during deployment by reviewing error messages and logs. 3.3. Version control. Track changes. Use version control features to track changes made to Power BI content across different environments. This helps in managing and reverting changes if needed. 4. Best practices for using deployment pipelines. 4.1. Environment configuration. Consistent environments. Ensure that development, test, and production environments are configured consistently to avoid discrepancies between stages. Data source configuration. Manage data source configurations carefully to ensure that they are updated appropriately as content is promoted through different environments. 4.2. Testing and validation. Thorough testing. Test Power BI content thoroughly in the test environment to identify and address any issues before deploying to production. User acceptance testing. Involve end users in testing to ensure that the content meets their requirements and expectations. 4.3. Automation and scheduling. Automate deployments. Use automation features to schedule and automate deployments, reducing manual effort and minimizing errors. Regular updates. Schedule regular updates and deployments to keep content current and aligned with business needs. 4.4. Documentation and communication. Document changes. Document changes and updates made during each stage of the deployment pipeline to provide clarity and support for future maintenance. Communicate changes. Communicate with stakeholders about changes and updates to ensure that they are aware of new or modified contents. 5. Troubleshooting and optimization. 5.1. Common issues. Deployment failures. Investigate deployment failures by reviewing error messages, checking environment configurations, and ensuring that data sources are correctly mapped. Performance issues. Address performance issues by optimizing content and queries before deploying to production. 5.2. Performance optimization. Optimize content. Optimize Power BI reports and datasets to improve performance and reduce deployment times. Monitor pipeline performance. Regularly monitor pipeline performance and make adjustments as needed to ensure efficient deployments. 6. Security and governance. 6.1. Access control. Manage permissions. Manage access to deployment pipelines and environments to ensure that only authorized users can deploy and promote content. Role-based access. Use role-based access control to assign appropriate permissions to users based on their responsibilities. 6.2. Data governance. Ensure compliance. Follow data governance practices to ensure that data and content comply with organizational and regulatory requirements. Audit trails. Maintain audit trails of changes and deployments to provide transparency and support compliance efforts.